Hi, this is Jessie Hoff with Century 21 JRS Realty, and today I am lucky enough to grab a few minutes of time for Chris Kinsella, who is a lawyer out of Union, and where else?
Good afternoon, Jesse. Glad to talk to you today. We have an office in Union, and we also have an office in Tinton Falls.
Okay, so in Tin Falls, and for you and I in particular, which is full disclosure for everyone who knows us, because I always tell everyone up front, not only do you handle most of my real estate transactions, you're also my uncle. So let's just get that out of the way. So I always tell people it's so good because I can get you on the phone so easily, although everyone else can. But if all else fails, I'll call your mother. And I've never quite had to resort to that yet. So that's been good. But I wanted to sit down with you for a few minutes today just to get from your perspective. And you do a bunch of different practices of law or different segments of law besides real estate. But that for the purpose of this today, just to kind of get an idea of what you're seeing with the real estate market.
Great to talk to you, Jess.
Good.
Yeah, we do. The firm does different things, different areas of law, some civil litigation, wills and estates, and we also do a heavy concentration of real estate, residential and commercial.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for over 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so just to get things off, at the bottom, people can find your email address and your office phone number, which is kind of scrolling down there. But also for and to find out more information about you and your firm, people can visit www.lbvklaw.com, which would be your firm's name, which is?
It's LaCourte, Bundy, Varady, and Kinsella. And
so that's at lbvklaw.com.
It's the first initial of the name of all the partners in the firm. So kind of easy to remember.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. So just to kind of jump into things, you and I have had a couple transactions since this whole pandemic began where we've had clients that needed to have closings take place. So what would you say for you and your practice? How are you safely working right now?
Well, Jess, we're following all the protocols and all the procedures that, scientists talk about, medical professionals talk about. So we're doing our best to limit the amount of people in the office live. So we have some staff working remotely. Some staff does come in. As far as the attorneys, the same thing goes. Now, as you just mentioned, we've had a couple deals, several deals. April was in fact very busy. So we were in the heart of this pandemic and people were scheduled to close and had to close. We could not put those things off. So with mortgages and legal documents, we also need original signatures. So a lot of e-signatures are accepted. However, they're not accepted on deeds, original mortgages. So we do need to see the people. In that vein, we would have a cleaning regimen in place. When the public would come in, it would be cleaned before they come in, cleaned after they came in, social distancing, wearing masks, and limiting the amount of people who are together. As you know, you used to have a seller's attorney, buyer's attorney. You would have all the parties sit around a table, ironing things out, which would work very frequently. You can't have it anymore. So
I know. It was kind of a bummer not to be at some of the closings that we had together.
Yes, I know. It is. It's funny. I had one closing where the sellers were waiting outside to see the buyers to congratulate them. And we said, you don't have to come because you can't come in. And they said, well, we're coming because we at least want to see the buyers. They stood a distance apart, but they wanted to have that feeling of passing their house off to somebody else. It was a good deal. They got along pretty well, and they wanted to feel that conclusion.
It's tough, right? So I mean, I think it was bizarre handing over the keys with gloves on to people, doing those sorts of things. It's all been such a bizarre experience, but at the same time, I think that it's been great that we've still been able to get it done, because what I think is very important is that people have to understand that no matter what's going on, there are still buyers and sellers that we represent that need to get to closing, whether it's for job or divorce or baby or some other reason that they are at least getting expiring or something like that they had to get that closing done.
Absolutely. There was some of the situations you just mentioned. If someone's lease is up, they have to go and move out of that property. So they don't want to have to go somewhere else temporarily. They want to go to their home. Or if they're relocating, we had a couple situations where someone's relocating. They kind of have everything on the truck. They have a little window of time, maybe a week or two, but they couldn't wait 2 months for everything to open up. So, I think the whole real estate industry has been remarkable in adapting. They've adapted really well, from the title companies to the realtors to the lenders to the attorneys, to adapt, work with everyone to everyone's comfort level and safety level so that the deals do get closed.
Right. And they can. And I think that that's something that's important. And for our area in particular, I think we've kind of realized, or I don't know about you, but I feel like for the people around me, we've kind of reached a place where we go, this isn't going to be over in a day. I think when this whole thing first started, it was like, okay, let's see what happens. No one really knows what's going on. This is going to go on for a week or 2 or 3. So I think everything kind of hit like this pause button, or for you and I in real estate, at least, we kind of accelerated our people. We were like, all right, they were closing at the end of the month. Let's do it now, because Lord knows what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, right?
That was a tough time because we were so uncertain. We didn't know if the banks were going to close. So
right.
End of March, beginning of April, we were, like you said, you and I had some conversations that we got to get these things closed, because the next order could be that the banks are no longer essential. And then we'd be stuck. Luckily, that didn't happen.
And we're in really good shape, because talking with Dan Murphy, who I did a video with, that you've done some business with in the past as well, or represented the same clients that he was doing the loans on. So you guys have had some interaction. He's been saying how they are still closing loans, that the rates are still they are amazing. The credit scores really haven't tightened up the way they were anticipating. But at the time, really not knowing what we were facing, there was a lot of acceleration. But at the same time, I don't know about you, it seemed like everyone was just a little nicer. Everyone was working together a little easier. Our clients were talking to the sellers and the buyers, kind of, meeting up outside with our masks on and stuff. So I've never done home inspections where all parties were there. But I don't know, maybe that's something that'll come out of this like new normal idea that keeps being said.
Yeah, let's hope that's part of the new normal. More civil
cooperation is a bad thing, right? Right. Well, so I think, like I said, I think that that's important that people realize that, and I think you hit the nail on the head by saying it's an adaptable industry, because there are needs that need to occur, and we've been able to fulfill them, and we can do them, ensuring everyone feels safe and comfortable, which is priority. So would you say that your office has seen a shift in legal needs? Like, just taking it aside from real estate at this point feels kind of grim, but with everything going on, are you doing more wills, or are you able to do wills or power of attorneys or things like that for people who might need, kind of under these circumstances, to move pretty quickly?
Unfortunately, that was on a lot of people's minds. We do some wills and estate work, and toward the ends of March, beginning of April, we did have some people rush in because they were concerned, because they were afraid, rightfully so, based upon what was going on, and they wanted to get their affairs in order. So there was a little bit of a rush there. That being said, I had some people that I was in the process of doing wills and estates for, and they took the other turn and said, I'm not leaving the house for 2 months. I'll see you after I come back out. So I have some sitting. So they said they're so concerned they're not even going to come out to do their will. They'll wait a little while. So the rest of things slowed down, as far as corporate work, contract work, there wasn't a lot of activity because there wasn't a lot of business being done. I think that is changing. I think as businesses open up, our office, other attorneys will start getting questions, and we'll start fielding some different areas to do with, general litigation or general corporate law.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, I think we're starting to see that this is going to be, for at least our section of New Jersey, or New Jersey as a whole, we're a little bit different than the rest of the country, and that we're probably a little bit slower to reopen, or it looks that way anyway. So I think we just need to continue to evolve in how we're working under these current set of circumstances right now. So what do you think about the real estate market? Have you had some closings, or not closings, have you had some contracts come across your desk in the past, call it 6 weeks?
Yeah, I would say probably in the last 3 weeks. Right in the beginning of April, as I said, we were closing a lot of deals, but really nothing coming in. I think that has changed within the last 3 weeks. So I think from now on, going forward, you're going to see it slowly start to increase. And I don't even think, maybe not slowly, maybe it will get pretty rapidly back to where it was. As I said, I think everyone's adapted to having safe social distancing, being safe, proper cleanup, sanitizing, and you're letting people in the house, or realtors, or doing it virtually. And I think that there have been more contracts coming across my desk, and as I talk to other attorneys in the industry, it is getting to pick up, which is a good thing, because just as we talked about, people had to close, some other people, they want to buy. They want to make the move. They're having a child. They don't know about what's going to happen in September, their school district. So they want to make that move, and they can't wait 3 to 6 months to do it. So they're going to start making it now. And I think the market, the professionals in the market, can adapt and meet the needs of the buyers.
Yeah, I mean, that brings up a good point. One of the things Century 21 JRS is doing right now are these virtual open houses, in which we're able to live stream the open houses, and people can ask questions or ask us to, hey, can you go show me a picture, or can you go take your camera and show me the bathroom, or can you get in that closet so we can see, or throw us into the attic. So we have that opportunity now that's been coming across. So it's something that I think will really help people make that decision a little bit more. But at the same time, a mutual client that we had fairly recently, both of them being home, it was kind of interesting to see the ability to pack without the, oh my gosh, I have to take off of work type thing, to be home, less movers, because they were doing it themselves, because they thought, what the heck, we're here. So it almost seems like you have people who are looking at their four walls and they're going, I don't want to be here anymore. I've looked at these walls enough. Forget about a change of scenery temporarily, but maybe they're feeling the four walls a little too tight, or maybe a little too much. But at the same time, there is a little bit more time, I think, to be able to do it. So it's kind of.
I agree. I think everybody's cleaned their house top to bottom. They painted every room. So if there was ever a time to list it, now's the time.
It's true. So one of my neighbors said, are you bored yet? And I go, you must have a clean house. Because if you are me, you are not. I got another 6 weeks of not being bored here before we're done. But I got to tell you, my husband said the other day, we did it, every closet, we didn't just put it in boxes and clean it up, right? We know where everything is. And it's quite a new experience to have in this house. So I will say, we call it in our house the great pause, right? The great pause has allowed us to sit and kind of figure everything out. So, but it's been interesting watching our buyers and sellers as they navigate, kind of being home or being there, that it's a little different. But more to your point, there are a lot of opportunities and ways now to be able to sell a house in a safe way, as far as the programs that are available and things like that. So that's always good. So it sounds like you think things are going in a positive direction, which I happen to agree with. I do, kind of feel the same way, that there was this kind of pause. Everyone kind of looked around and held tight for a little while. And then they started realizing, okay, maybe this is going to be the way it is for a while. So those who have the need still need to do something. And it will be interesting to see in our area, because one of the transactions you and I did together, one of our clients who were awesome, when they put their offer in March, they were up against 17 other offers, right, in Colonia. So they were one of 17 offers on a house in Colonia. So you could kind of imagine this buildup that's occurred of our local inventory needing to be there, and how there were so many buyers. So I do think, even if things open up slowly, I don't think we're going to have much of a negative impact, which I think is a good thing. And it's nice to see that you also kind of see it slowly starting to reopen as well.
Yeah, I think it will. And as you know, we had a situation like this as well. Some buyers who in March were very excited suddenly pulled back, because they didn't know where they were going to be. They didn't know if they were going to be furloughed. They didn't know if they were going to have a job in a couple weeks. Some buyers knew if they were essential workers, knew they would have a job. So it kind of, you had to adapt to your own employment and your own situation. So I think also, now that things have gotten back on track, those buyers are going to feel a lot more comfortable, because they know where they are with their employment and where they're going to be 6 months from now.
Yeah, that's a great point, because there was with all that uncertainty, we did have a couple who just needed to pump the brakes a little bit because they weren't sure of their future. So uncertainty is terrible. I mean,
Right.
it's awful. So lastly, I appreciate again you taking the time today. So www.lbvklaw.com if you want to find out more about Chris and his law firm, or you can send us a message through any of our social medias that this video is appearing on. Obviously, if you're watching, you probably know me, so you've heard me talk about Chris already. But I always say that even if he wasn't my uncle, he would still be my number one choice for a real estate attorney, because him and his staff just do a fantastic job. So before we end it up, I would just want to ask you, is there anything in sum over this past period of 6, 8 weeks, whatever you want to call it, I don't lost track, nothing, no sense of time anymore, but since this whole thing began, is there anything that stuck with you or that you've learned from it?
There is, Jess, but I also want to say, even if you weren't my niece, I would refer anyone to you. And anyone I talk to, you and your office, what makes you different is you are there from the start to the end. You are the type of office and the type of agent that some other offices, they get the deal, they get the contract, and then they say their work is done. I know you personally don't feel in your office and your agents that your work's not done till it's closed. And when you refer clients, I always tell them that Jessie and her staff are going to be with you the whole way. And I know you are, and you've been instrumental getting us sometimes through hoops that we needed to get through to get to closing. So the feeling is mutual as far as that goes. And as far as what I learned is, recently, I think that we all just have to be aware of each other, and we have to communicate with each other about your level of comfort. Some people are okay. You wear a mask, you stand 6 feet away. They're okay coming in, sitting at the table. Some other people don't want to be within 20 feet of another person at this point. So I think we have to communicate with each other, say, are you comfortable? Do you mind me sitting here in the context of this deal, so that everyone does relax and feel comfortable and feel their legal needs are being met, and also that they're safe at that time. Okay, so I think that we can do better, and we continue to do better with helping people feel that the market's improving and that your needs will be met.
And safely, and we can do that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I didn't even see where that was coming at the end, so that was an interesting. Thank you so much.
All right.
But please stay well, please stay safe, and continue
Yes,
helping
you
my
too.
clients do a good job. All
Okay.
right.
Thanks, Jess. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.